What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Dan Cave. And today we get to check out Wally, and well, he's broken. He's busted. He may have a couple bugs, but it's okay. We're going to be looking at him, breaking that down. I'll explain a little bit later what that particular issue is. And of course, Kabam is aware of it and they are trying to take care of it, which maybe it's already fixed by the time you were watching this video and he's out. Before we jump into that, I want to give a big shout out to Kabam and the creator program because they did allow us to test out Wally for a few days before his launch, which is where we found some of these bugs. And that way they were aware of them so that they can get them fixed before the general public really starts to use Wally. Now, I say that because you need to be very aware when you're watching all these reviews of Wally. Well, if they didn't test them correctly or they weren't aware of that particular bug in the review, he may look a little different than he actually is. But before we jump into all that content, make sure hit that subscribe button down below, leave a comment on maybe who your favorite is. Are you waiting for Wally or do you really want that Super Saiyan Simba? Let me know down below. And with that being said, guys, let's jump into it. All right, guys, so as you may know, I was traveling over the last couple weeks, so I had to do some of this filming on my phone and then taking that video over here. So we're gonna be watching some video and I'm also gonna be doing some breakdowns and things like that. But I wanted to show you guys what we were working with. So as I mentioned, Kabam was awesome enough to supply us with a Wally. We got a 5-star Wally, level 50, and you can tell right now that he's got a lot of his abilities pretty well leveled, his talents and things like that. So we've got his talents at level 6, 6, and 4, and we've equipped the ones that we want. For those who haven't actually looked at Wally and read his kit, let's do a quick breakdown of his abilities and his talents so you understand what you need to be doing with the character himself. So we're gonna go over to abilities and we have recycle, cycle, and this is where everything is going to matter. So Wally, the way he works is you want to make sure that you're getting a lot of buffs on Wally and letting them fall off, because the thing is, Wally cannot heal based on other people's heals. What ends up happening is instead, Wally's going to gain defense. So every time he's tried to heal, instead of healing, he's going to gain defense. He's going to really become that tank every time he's taking damage, every time he's being healed, all the times that he's getting buffs and all of that. And that is what is most important about his kit. So whenever a buff expires on Wally, well, he's gonna gain armor. Every 10 seconds, he's gonna gain armor buffs. Well, guess what? Those armor buffs are gonna fall off. He's gonna gain armor. So this guy is pretty awesome when it comes to this. Just keep in mind, he can't get healed from other people's heals, which right now, with this bug that we talked about, he's getting healed. So that's one of the big issues right now. When people are testing him out, he's being healed, and he's really not supposed to. All right, so let's look at full tank real quick. This is his special, and every time he does that, he's gonna get these defense buffs. And keep in mind, when they fall off, he's going to gain more armor. So it's all about gaining that armor, and then when you get him up to 4-star or above, he's gonna get that signature ability, and this is how you can heal Wally. So keep in mind, if you have a 3-star Wally, you're not gonna be able to heal him, and he may not be as good. But once he gets to that 4-star, he will get this. And the way it works is eventually he will get some heal charges. And when he has 3 heal charges and uses special ability, he's going to gain 25% health back. So again, that's where you're going to heal him. This is going to make a huge difference, but you are going to kind of need to play him and understand when you need to do those special abilities to make sure he's getting the heal. All right, so let's talk about talents. What talents matter? Well, it's the bottom 3. Reuse. So whenever an ally's buff expires, Wally's going to gain armor. Again, whenever it expires, it's purged, anything like that, Wally's going to gain armor. Recycle. Well, whenever an enemy's buff is purged or falls off or anything like that, he's going to gain a junk buff. Again, that junk buff really doesn't do anything. It's a 0% bonus damage, but the important thing is when that junk buff falls off, he's going to gain armor. Again, lots and lots of armor. And junk collector, same thing here. So every time these buffs are purged or removed from your allies, from your enemies, we're gonna gain armor. And that is the biggest thing here. The good thing is when an enemy's buff is purged, you're also gonna gain armor to your team. So that's gonna be a good thing as far as your tank and making sure that everybody else survives. But the big thing here is Wally's gonna gain a bunch of armor and he is going to be that tank that you want him to be. So like I said, That issue that we're having right now with the testing is he's being healed by other characters. He's also getting these buffs and things like that, which is increasing the armor, and it really shouldn't. So I'm sure that's going to be fixed. I'm hoping it's going to be fixed before he's dropped into the game, but I'm sure Lyra, the devs, all these guys will let us know where we stand on that when he is launched. Now, I guess if you're watching this now, and then we'll see where he ends up. But I can tell you right now, Wally's pretty nice as a tank, getting all those buffs, getting all that armor, and being able to survive. With the Wally, what I wanted to do is I wanted to kind of put him head to head against one of the other tanks that everybody's using. Now, Wally is tech, Baymax is tech. Realistically, these are the two tanks that you're going to be using. I'm not including Mr. Incredible in this because honestly, Mr. Incredible is a melee character. He's not really a tank. He just has that tank tag. So I wanted to compare someone who is kind of 1-to-1. So our Baymax is 5 stars. He is level 50. And well, I've got the talents very close to the same levels. I ran out of a couple books. I know we got to farm some more on the towers, but I did find it a pretty good comparison because they kind of do the same thing. They want to give armor to the team. They want to take a lot of damage. And so I wanted to see how these stacked up. All right, guys, so I have the video and we're going to be breaking this down. And what I did was I went into the last level of the major moats for the tank moats. And I wanted to make sure I was taking the exact same team in on the exact same floor and really seeing the difference between them. Now, we talked about before, Baymax is really a 1-to-1 with Wally. So the question is Wally the better tech tank compared to Baymax? Now for the team, I made sure that I had somebody who could do damage, and we went with Mr. Incredible because he's usually paired up anyway with a tech team because of Hero. And well, we went with Hero because Hero's so good. Now, once Wally comes to the game, I may actually do some testing with him once we unlock him to test with Mike once he's fixed. I think with Mike's ability to do the extra defense and the heals and things like that, he may be a very, very good counterpart to Wally, but with the bugs being in place, I felt like that may actually skew the results a little too much. Now, the other caveat to this is I put them on auto. Now, I can always take a character in there and control them, but if I'm controlling one better than the other, well, that's going to skew exactly how much better, or if that character is even better than the one you're comparing them to. So we're testing AI. Yeah, I know there's not a really great way to do a 1-for-1 test because realistically, I could control Mr. Incredible and it really doesn't matter what tank I put in there, but at least this way, the AI is going to try to use them and we can really see what they're going to do. The last thing I'm going to point out is the team power. You'll notice we're way, way below the recommended power, and this will be the same case for Wally, and you're going to see how these guys stack up in this match. So let's jump in here. We're going to be using Baymax first to get that just level set of how we're doing with the teams. Now, this is a pretty common team when it comes to the tech team or anything like that. Baymax and Hero are pretty good for survivability. And we'll probably skip around just to kind of speed it up a little bit. But you can see they're doing their thing, you know, the normal types of stuff. Baymax throwing down his special, giving that armor to the team. So you can see right here, Mr. Incredible with a ton of armor. He's really doing the damage on this team. You got to make sure you have your damage dealer when you're working with tanks and supports. All right, just kind of taking it down. We're going to skip a little bit in here, but you can see Baymax is taking some damage. Not looking too great. And again, this is all on auto, so it's AI doing their thing. All right, and heading into the final part with Sully here. And And this is kind of where it starts to go downhill. So again, it is auto. So yes, if I wasn't on auto, I could kind of bring in Mr. Incredible, get some of that off of Baymax. But again, I want to just kind of show what's there. So even with those heals and things going on with Hero, well, Baymax is still taking a lot of damage, and you're going to see Baymax go down. And well, that's kind of the issue right here with the team. So Hero looks fine, Mr. Incredible looks fine, but Baymax on the other hand, even at level 50 and upgraded, he's taking a lot of damage from Sully, and that's just not a good thing. All right, and there goes Baymax. He is down for the count. I actually ran this about 3 different times just to make sure, and every single time on auto, this is what happened. Now, for the most part, Mr. Incredible can finish this out. Not a problem whatsoever. But again, I wanted to make sure that we're just using the auto, a direct comparison between the two teams to really see who the best tank is. So kind of speeding it up here. We'll have these guys take them down. Not a big deal. And you can see just a second ago there, you can see Hero taking a little bit of damage here as well, down in the red, because we don't have Baymax hanging out there, giving the armor and keeping them alive. All right, so just to show you guys, we are in that last major moat area for the tank moats. And instead of Baymax, we're going to take Baymax out. We're going to put in Wally. Again, you can see we're underpowered here, but strong attack is big attack is heavy attack. It does kind of like a sumo bump there. And the big thing, you don't really see too much here because he is on auto. A little animation there. Does a little spin around. You can see Wally is starting to take a little bit of damage here, but he is getting those defense buffs. Now you can see right here my testing. So Wally's starting to gain his armor, and you can see at the top above his health, and that bar is starting to stack up, and he should be pretty good to go from this point and not really have any kind of worries of going down. And if you were actually controlling him, you could really use that special to make sure he's getting the heal. But all in all, I mean, even on AI, you can see this is a much different match compared to the Baymax team. That again, increasing survivability. Unlike Baymax, nobody has survivability is much higher. Now I know I'm doing a lot of comparisons to Baymax, but realistically, that is who we should be comparing him to. He has the same place. He's a great tank, so if you're using Oogie or any of those other characters, he's probably going to be better than them as well, as you can see in these Baymax so much. Much better tank than Baymax. And Baymax now, based on the testing that we had, you just saw him really punch up a lot within this team. And so thank you for watching my breakdown of Wally. Let me know down below in the comments, what do you guys think of Wally? Are you gonna go after? I think he's a pretty good tank. Is he one of those tanks that's gonna really do a lot to put your resources? And well, we'll see as we continue to use them how far